Hey guys, it's Hannah, and as you can clearly tell, I am back home with my bookshelves, and let me tell you, I missed them so much. I didn't even realize how much happiness having my bookshelves in my room brings me, but it really does. It changes my mood completely when I look at them, so it feels so nice to be back home and filming in front of them again. I miss this background a lot, and I know a lot of you said that you missed it too, so yay, everyone's happy. But today I have for you a book haul, which is a video I haven't done in 84 years. And when I came back home, I had so many packages. I mean, so many packages, because I was gone for 6 months and I had so much to open, so I had so many books. So in today's video, I'm gonna haul a decent number of those. I'm not hauling all of them because I'm not keeping all of them. I just don't have the space, and I'm also trying to declutter my bookshelves right now. These are a good number of the books that were sent to me over the past 6 months or so, and I just wanted to share them with you all because I didn't even really get to look through them. So some of them are much older titles. They're arcs for books that came out a couple months ago and stuff, but these are all still books that I'm really excited about and really do want to read. So without any further ado, let's just get into all of the books that I have to haul. First up, I have a few books that were sent to me by Penguin Random House, so thank you so much to them. This first one is actually a little scrapbook. It's a Harry Potter Hogwarts movie scrapbook. It kind of just walks you through the first movie and includes different posters and little character cards. I think at one point there are little flaps that have different things for each of the different films, and it's just really cute. There's stickers and stuff in here, and I love this type of stuff. I have 3 Harry Potter shelves, obviously, as you've seen. I just like collecting little things like this to include on the shelf as well, so I'm really excited to have this. The next book I have here is Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. I read The Book Thief a very long time ago, I think when I was in middle school, and I really loved it back then, but it's been so long since I've read it that I barely remember anything from it anymore, and I need to read it again. But I am excited to read Bridge of Clay because I have heard some pretty good things about it, and I do have an advanced copy of this book that I got back in May or June, and I still never got around to reading that one, so I was excited to get the finished copy so that I can hopefully get around to it soon. The next book I have here is The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman, and I actually don't really know what this is about. This is the collector's edition of the book, and it's really beautiful. I just love the design of this book. I know that Philip Pullman is the author of the His Dark Materials trilogy, which I really want to read those, but I honestly have no idea what this one is about. I think that it's a continuation of that series, or at least set in the same world, but I'm not exactly positive. So once I read that other trilogy, I think I'll finally get around to this one if I like those. But yeah, I was really excited to see this in the mail because it's just so beautiful, and I was actually considering picking it up at the bookstore, so when I got home and I saw that I'd gotten a copy, I was very happy. So thank you, Penguin. Next up here, I have an arc of a new fantasy novel that was sent to me by HMH Teen, so thank you to them. But that book is Courting Darkness by Robin Lefevre's. This is a new fantasy novel. It's an advanced copy, like I said. It comes out February 2019, so it might be out by the time this video is up. And to be honest, I don't really know anything about this story other than it takes place in French court, but I think it's also a fictionalized version of that because there's some fantasy wrapped up in this as well. And I know that I think it was Leigh Bardugo or Victoria Schwab, I don't remember. One of my favorite authors was recommending it on their Instagram or something. They were talking about this book. So that's what piqued my interest and made me decide to keep this, because I have a feeling that I might actually enjoy this one too, and I have been looking for some new fantasy because a lot of the fantasy I've been reading lately has not been my favorite. So I'm hoping that this one will be a new one that I like. And it's also the first in a duology, that's what they say on the back. So hopefully it's one that I end up liking. Next up, I have My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. This book is, I think, a companion to My Lady Jane? Maybe that's the other one? I don't remember. There's another book that has almost this exact same title by the same authors that came out before. So this book is a modernized retelling of Jane Eyre, and that's all I really know about it. I love the story of Jane Eyre, so I'm actually looking forward to reading this because I have heard some good things about it, and I do really like reading retellings of classic stories, so I'm hoping this will be a fun retelling that I'll really enjoy, but I am intrigued by it, and I've never really read anything like this, so it'll be something new for me to try. The next book I have here is an arc that was sent to me by Simon & Schuster, so thank you so much to them. And that book is Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young. So from what I gather about the synopsis of this book, it kind of reminds me of the Ugly series, because it's about these girls who go to this academy that is about making them beautiful and obedient and just kind of overall perfect in terms of what the society deems perfect for women. It seems like a really interesting concept to me, and I really liked The Ugliest series back when I read it, like in middle school, and I kind of want to try something else that's similar to that. So this one will be an interesting one to pick up and try. I haven't really heard anything about it before, so I'm excited to see if I like it. And this book comes out in March 2019. The next book I have here is another ARC that was sent to me by Simon, and that book is Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rendell. At a first glance, this story is not really up my alley, mostly because it's sci-fi and I don't really read sci-fi, but the part of the synopsis that kind of grabbed my attention was that it's kind of like a sci-fi dystopian world, and from what I gather, there are 3 different perspectives, or at least 3 different main characters in the story, and they all have to come together to save the world. And I really like having multiple perspectives, and I like when like a team of people have to come together to resolve a problem far more than when it's just like a chosen one story. I was actually kind of intrigued by that part of the synopsis, and I do want to try out some more sci-fi, and I thought that this would be a good one to check out if I'm ever interested in picking up sci-fi. So yeah, I'm hoping to enjoy it. Again, it's another one I haven't heard anything about, so if you guys have heard something about it, please do let me know. I would love to hear any of your thoughts. And this is another book that comes out in March 2019. Next up, I have another advanced copy that was sent to me quite a long time ago, because I know this book has been out for quite some time now, but I wasn't home, so I couldn't open it. And that book is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White. I know essentially nothing about this book other than it has something to do with the story of Frankenstein. It is in some way a retelling or a reimagining of that, and I haven't actually read Frankenstein, like the original text, and I do want to read it. I was actually thinking of reading it this year, so I'm thinking that I'll probably read that and then pick this one up pretty soon after. But again, like I said earlier, I do like reading retellings or reimaginings of classic novels, so I am excited to get around to this one eventually, and hopefully it's spooky and creepy and I enjoy it. The next book I have here is one that I have already read and really, really loved, so when I came home and saw that I had a finished copy of it waiting for me in the mail, I was so very happy, and that book is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I've mentioned this book in quite a few videos now. I think I mentioned it in my 5 books you need to read video somewhat recently, so I'll link that on the screen if you'd like to go and watch it and hear some more of my thoughts about this book. But Sadie is essentially a story that is told in the format of a podcast, and it's exceptional. It's such a good book. I loved it. It's chilling. Highly recommend that you listen to the audiobook because the audiobook is phenomenal. But yeah, it's such a good YA mystery novel. It's pretty disturbing, so be aware of that before you go into it. There are a lot of really difficult topics that the story handles, like abuse, pedophilia, so be cautious of it before you start reading the book, but I highly, highly recommend it. It's so good. So thank you, Wednesday Books, for sending this to me because I'm really happy to have a finished copy now. Next up here, I have one of my most anticipated releases for the year, and I'm very grateful to have this now, and that book is Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the 3rd book in the Witchland series. As you all know, I loved Truth Witch. I read it in 2017, I think, and I really, really loved that book. And I've recently started reading Wind Witch, the 2nd book in the series, so that I can finally get around to Blood Witch. But I'm a huge fan of the series. I think it's very underrated and it deserves more love. And I'm really happy that my favorite character is on the cover of this book because he's the best. So thank you so much to Tortine because I just cannot wait to start reading this. Next up, I have another book that was also one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and that book is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I absolutely loved The Hate U Give, and I fell in love with Angie Thomas's writing ever since I read that book because it's exceptional, so I am so excited to finally have a copy of this and finally get around to reading it. All I really know about On the Come Up is that it follows our main character who wants to be a rapper, but I'm pretty sure it takes place in like the same universe as The Hate U Give. But yeah, I'm excited to have my heart torn to pieces by another one of her incredible contemporaries, and I'm just excited that this book is out in the world so that everyone can enjoy more Angie Thomas. The next book I have here is another one that was sent to me by HarperCollins, so thank you to them again, and that is Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye. All I know about Evelyn Skye is that she wrote The Crown's Game, which I do have a copy of and have been meaning to read for some time now, and people have told me that that book is kind of like a YA version of The Night Circus, which is why I've wanted to read it for so long. But all I really know about this one is that it takes place in a fantasy world where the society is kind of mostly made up of assassins, like being an assassin is a major thing in this world. And the characters that we follow around want to graduate from like this academy of assassins, from what I gather, and they want to be like part of this elite group. But then I think revolution kind of gets in the way of that, and I don't exactly know what brings that on. That's all I really know about the the actual plot of the story, and I didn't have anything that was really tying me to this one until I heard some people giving it really, really good reviews and saying that it was a really great fantasy. So I am excited to read it because I'm hoping that it is kind of like another fantasy that I can actually enjoy again, because I've been having some bad luck with them recently, and I'm hoping that this is one of the ones I actually end up loving. Next up here, I have two books that were sent to me by HMH, and I actually don't really know anything about these books except for the fact that I love the covers and something about them just really, really makes me want to read these books. And those books are East and West by Edith Patu. First of all, I love the cover art of these. Like, I love them so much. And something about the look of these two covers together really just makes me want to read these books. All I really know is that our main character is named Rose, and one day this giant polar bear just comes up to her and asks her to go on an adventure, and that sounds like my dream. Like, that's all I want in life. I think it's just like something about these books, like the cover and the concept, reminds me a little bit of some of like the middle grade fantasy that I would read when I was like in elementary school. And I don't even know if these are middle grade. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure they're young adult. They might be middle grade, who knows? Either way, I'm excited to read these. I've never really heard anything about them, but they really intrigue me, and I hope I love them. The next book I have here is one that I'm actually really excited to read. I'd literally never heard of this book ever before. I hadn't seen it anywhere, and when I got it in the mail, the cover just like instantly made me want to pick it up, and then I read the summary and I was like, I'm gonna like this. And that book is The Cold in Her Bones. So I'm just gonna read you the little short summary that's on the back of this because I think it's the best way to describe what it's about. It says, Milla knows two things to be true. Demons are real, and fear will keep her safe. Milla's whole world is her family's isolated farm. When a girl, Iris, comes from a nearby village to stay with them, she bears a secret. The village is cursed by a demon who possesses girls at random. Now, it seems, the demon has come for Iris. Milla leaves home to save her family and break the curse forever, but she now has a terrible secret of her own. Milla is changing too, and may soon be a demon herself. Like, that just sounds really good to me. It's a pretty short book, like it's not very long at all, and for whatever reason, the cover and the summary really just captured my attention like instantly, and I want to read this so badly. This is an advanced copy, and it said that the book came out January 2019, so it is out now if you would like to go and check it out yourself. But I am very, very intrigued by this, and I think I'm gonna pick it up probably pretty soon because this sounds like exactly the type of story I want right now. Next up here, I have another book that I've been highly anticipating reading ever since I heard about this book coming out, and that is Odd One Out by Nick Stone. I adored Dear Martin by Nick Stone. I think I read it in 2017 or 2018, I don't remember. All the years and books blur together. All I really know about this is that it's a love triangle and it's told from three separate perspectives, and I think that every single one of the people in the love triangle is actually like in love with the other people in the love triangle, so it's like an actual love triangle. So it sounds great to me. But like I said, I loved Nick Stone's first book and I really loved her writing, so I think I'm really gonna love this one as well. The next book I have here is one that was sent to me in a fairy loot box, and that is this absolutely gorgeous edition of Girls of Paper and Fire. Like, first of all, the cover, of course, but can we like, look at that. That's so beautiful. I cannot even tell you how many people have told me to read this book and how many people say it's just absolutely wonderful YA fantasy. All I really know about this book is that it's an Asian-inspired fantasy, and it's about this girl who works in the castle of this kingdom, and she falls in love with another girl, but that's like forbidden in their world, and so there is action and drama and romance and fighting, I'm assuming. But from everything I've heard about it, it's absolutely exceptional and completely wonderful, and I've just heard nothing but good hype around it. So I think I'm actually gonna put this off for a little bit because I don't want the hype to get to me. I don't want it to influence my opinion, and I don't want it to make my expectations too high because they're pretty high right now. But I am nonetheless extremely excited to read this, and I think it will be a fantasy that I will enjoy because everything about it seems like everything I would like. So yeah, I hope it lives up to the hype. And lastly, I have two more books to share with you all, and the first of those is Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. I read Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson last year, and I absolutely loved that book, and I've actually never read Speak. I know a lot of people in my high school had to read it as required reading, but none of my classes ever required it, so I never read this one, and I have been wanting to for some time now, so I was really excited to find a copy in my mailbox because it means I can finally get around to it. I know that this is a really well-loved story. This is, I don't know like what special edition, but that this is a new cover, and I know it's a really important and powerful story about sexual assault. From what I've read of Lori Halse Anderson, her stories are extremely powerful and definitely resonate with you regardless of if you can relate or not. So I am looking forward to picking this one up because it's one of those books that I want to have read. And lastly, the very last book I have in my haul is one that was sent to me by HarperCollins. It's another book that I have already read and did enjoy, and that book is Heretics Anonymous by Katie Henry. Heretics Anonymous is an interesting book. I did like it, and I thought I would like it more than I did, so I was a little bit let down by the story, but overall it's a very funny contemporary that kind of just centers around religion. To be fair, it mostly just centers around this group of students who all go to a Catholic school and are a part of this kind of like support group, like club that they've set up for themselves on campus called Heretics Anonymous because everyone in the group is not actually Catholic, so technically they are heretics. I was interested in picking this book up because the main character, Michael, is an atheist, and I feel like I never see atheist main characters or even atheist characters in books very often, at least ones that aren't explicitly like stated as atheist. So I thought it would be an interesting book to pick up, and like I said, I wasn't disappointed. It was a fun story, but definitely not what I was anticipating it to be. It's far more of like a romance than anything else. But I do recommend it if you are looking for a new funny book to pick up. All right, so there you all have it. That is it for my first book haul of the year and my very first book haul in literally so long. Again, a huge thank you to all of the publishers and everyone who sent me copies of these books. I very much appreciate it. I will actually be having another book haul up relatively soon-ish after this one, so probably like a month or so, because I'm planning on doing some book shopping for myself. I have been unhauling some books from my bookshelves for a little bit now, and I still have a lot more work to do on them and a lot more to unhaul, so my shelves are gonna be a bit more bare than this, and I need some books to kind of replenish them. Mostly I'm just buying some books that I have already read and really loved, but I just don't own physical copies of them and I want to have them. So yeah, you can expect that book haul coming somewhat soon as well. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read any of the books that I mentioned in this video. What were your thoughts on any of them? If there are any of the books that I mentioned that I want to read but I don't know too much about them, if you've read them, please do let me know some of your thoughts. If you liked them or you didn't like them, I would love to know so that I can know which ones to pick up first. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social media, all my links are in the description box as always. But thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!